This is the all-new Lexus TX, or as we call it around here, the Lexus Texas. Today we're going to check out its long list of features and then put it to the test right here at our Peninsula Proving Grounds. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. Lexus already had a great lineup of SUVs and crossovers. On the small side, you have the NX and the RX. Both of these are super easy to drive, but limited in off-road capability. Go big and you get the body-on-frame GX or LX. These larger three-row SUVs have a lot of durability built in, plus some great off-road options. However, not every family wants or needs that. In the middle, Lexus is now offering the all-new TX. Easy to drive like the unibody crossovers, but large enough for the whole family and with enough capability to get down a dirt road without any issues. If you're looking at this and saying, hey, haven't we seen that before? It is a relative of the Toyota Grand Highlander, which I really like. However, here, it has not only a Lexus badge, it also has tons of Lexus amenities. The model we have for testing today is the top-spec TX550h Plus plug-in electric hybrid. Price of this TX550h Plus in top-spec luxury trim, along with a number of options including tech, cold area, and power outlets, you're looking at $82,534 US, including destination. At this price, it still doesn't have massage units. Can't have everything. Under the hood is a 3.5-liter V6 engine. It's attached to two electric motors for a peak combined output of 404 horses. Better yet, plug it in overnight, and the next day you can run up to 33 miles in all-electric range. Once the high-density lithium-ion battery is depleted, then it operates like a standard hybrid. Yes, even with all-wheel drive still working. So you can just fill up using regular gas and drive as long as you want. Bring it home that night, plug it back in, and the next day you'll be back in full electric mode. So if your commute is under 15 miles each way, you can theoretically operate this without a drop of gas. The EPA rates standard hybrid operation at 29 miles to the gallon combined. All-wheel drive is standard, with the back wheels being driven exclusively by the rear electric motor, which provides power in both electric and hybrid modes. The wheels here are 22-inch alloys wrapped in Continental all-season tires. The wheelbase is a very long 116.1 inches. Perhaps one of the most significant achievements of this new TX is the fact that you can not only bring 7 passengers with you, you can also bring all of their stuff. Back here you can get up to 20.2 cubic feet with all the rows in use. Fold down the third row for up to 57.7. Fold all rows flat for a massive 97 cubic feet of overall storage. Can you sleep in it? Heck, you could probably live in it. In fact, it's so big, I could almost sit up in it. Almost. Under the floor here, we get a fix-a-flat kit plus a level 1 charging cable, so we can charge it up overnight at the house on a standard AC socket. We also get a 1500 watt AC back here. With the buttons, you can either close or lock, or use your foot with the sensor below. Okay, let's fit an adult in the third row. Always my favorite part of these reviews. Okay, not so bad, but let's do it with the seat back at a human distance. Overall, really not that bad. Obviously, it's a little bit like a bench back here, but I actually have room for my knees, which is nice. Further, I get USB-C sockets on both sides, plus lots of bins to hold my stuff. I even get a button, to recline my back. That's nice. Up here, I get a vent and a light. Okay, with the seat back in place, let's check out the second row. Oh yeah, it's a nice comfortable chair. I get a fold down armrest, ratchets into whatever position I want. There we go. Get a little bin right here. I have both heat and cooling for the seat, which is nice. My own aircon, USB-C power sockets, and an AC inverter. Privacy screen, vents and light. Overall, a really nice place to hang out. I even get this little configurable bin down here, which has removable cup holders. So when I inevitably spill my drink, just take this out and clean it, which is kind of clever. Excellent. I'm ready for a road trip. Oh, I'm the driver. Okay, here we are inside the new TX. If you've been in a modern Lexus, this is going to be very familiar. It's basically the same design that you've seen before, but it's all good. I mean, like, they have the semi-aniline leather here with some Alcantara inserts. Very nice, comfortable seats. They're both heated and cooled and just have a ton of adjustments, including a lower leg adjustment. If I can find that button. There we go. Yeah. Now here we do get paddle shifters on the wheel, and we also have the return of Lexus's touch panels on the steering wheel, which I don't care for. The reason is because they actually provide multiple functions, and you can toggle the functions with the button right below the pad. The problem is I'm wearing sunglasses right now. I can't see the heads-up display at all because unless I'm driving without sunglasses, I don't know what these buttons are going to do because, again, multiple modes. But they are a new Lexus regular thing, so they're going to show up in all of these vehicles. Gauge cluster is a beautiful digital display. Its color has really nice definition, and I like the design. You can also pop through a few different options, but it's not one of those like, oh, again, gotta take my glasses off because I can't see panel adjustments. So now I'm in panel display. I can toggle through some stuff. Very nice display options. And we get everything from MPGs to power distribution to safety stuff like the lane centering and adaptive cruise control, which is of course standard on this vehicle, as is collision mitigation. You get blind spot warning at this trim level, rear cross traffic alerts. Oh yeah, and you also get a surround view camera, which is really nice. I like the way Toyota's been doing their surround views these days. And not only does it have a surround view camera, it also has little washers on them. It'll spritz the cameras for me. Very nice. Down here we get a charging pad for compatible devices. This does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both cabled and wireless. I do get a AC panel below the main display, and I can expand or contract that so it's more maps or more panel. And then they've done something that I think is kind of annoying. We hit this little button here and then we get options. So like this morning, my kids wanted to use the power outlet to charge a device. I couldn't find the button because all Toyota Lexus, they typically put them over on the left. Well, they've moved it up here to this panel. Couldn't see it, didn't know where it was, had to look in the manual. Well, finally found it, it's up here. And there are so many icons up here. You want to change something, you gotta toggle through stuff. It's becoming a little annoying to have to dig deep. Like, for example, drive modes. Where are drive modes? Car, drive mode, sport. And that's guaranteeing nobody is ever going to use drive modes. Seat controls, I can fold down all the seats back there. I mean, seat controls, why do you bury it? If it's one button and it gives you one option, shouldn't you just promote that to fold all, hit the button and you go? Too many menu steps in a lot of these different things. But let's say I want to turn off rear cross traffic alerts because they're annoying, or I'm on a forest road and I just want them to stop going off. Well, if I'm in maps, I have to click car. I have to hit driving assist. Yeah, and there's rear cross traffic alerts. So there's two things here. A, it's buried, so I can't see it and I don't know where it is. And B, I have to understand what their terminology is leading me to. It's kind of annoying. I just really wish that we had buttons again. Give us buttons. Or if you give us software, give us an option to have a tray of quick access buttons. I mean, Subaru learned right away when they introduced their 11.6-inch tablet-style display. They started adding quick access buttons at the bottom because people want that. Don't bury stuff, Lexus. Give it to me in the front. Now, okay, maybe bury it on Toyota vehicles, but as a luxury option, engineer some buttons for me, okay? Below that, we also have 3 USB-C sockets, which is great. We have some more of these removable container devices for holding beverages. And the neat thing is you don't want beverages, take these all out and you get a nice big bin. You can also adjust it so you got one there or you have two there. It's kind of like Legos. Oh, also, there's a slot for the cup handle. So which way do you want your cup handle? Well, you can rotate the bin to accommodate. The controller here is the little joysticky thing. Below that, we get a number of buttons that do control the plug-in electric hybrid system that we have here. And it's a pretty advanced system, and I really like it. Not only can you run an all-electric if you have enough battery charge, you can also go into hybrid mode. You can also go into a charge mode. So if you want your gas engine to charge your batteries, you can do that while you're driving, which is a nice touch. If, for example, you're going to some location where you want to be just doing EV only when you get there, that kind of allows you to do that. And then there's also a trail button here, which we are going to test a little bit later. Up here, we get a digital backup display. This actually uses a camera in the back of the glass so you can see through all the stuff in the back. But one weird omission here is no sunroof. 82 grand and no sunroof. I find that a bit odd. Oh, one last note, this does include navigation. All the current Lexus vehicles that have been updated to the new software include that as standard feature. The steering wheel is heated, and I want to turn that off right now because it's way too hot out. And of course, we have virtual buttons for aircon, plus little dials to help set the temperature. Or if I want to use voice commands, I can hit this button right there. Set temperature, driver, 70 degrees.
Setting the driver's temperature to 70 degrees.
Okay, so that works if you want to do it that way. So what are we going to do today? Well, first we're going to take it out onto the road, test out how it drives day to day, and then we're going to bring it back here to our Peninsula Proving Grounds where we're going to put to the test this trail button and see how well this all-wheel drive system handles slightly complicated trail roads. When Lexus first announced this new TX, I was wondering where would it fit in the lineup? Was a vehicle like this really necessary? But upon further consideration, yeah, it is. Because if you think about what they're offering right now, they have the NX and RX on the crossover-y side, and then they have the GX LX, which are both based on the Land Cruiser and Land Cruiser Prado. Body-on-frame vehicles just don't handle as well or as comfortably as a crossover. They're better for certain things, like for off-road and for durability, excellent. But if you just want to pick up the kids for soccer, go shopping, maybe go visit the in-laws over the weekend, you need a vehicle more like this one. But if your main goal isn't overlanding and you need more space than an RX or NX, then something like this TX really makes sense because it's as comfortable to drive as a car, yet it has all the space you need up to 7 passengers. Now this particular TX only seats 6, thanks to the fact that it has captain's chairs in the second row. And then the third row, it's a little small to fit 3 in there, and they don't have a third belt. So 6 is what you get in this vehicle. If you get other trims, you can fit up to 7. So for many families, this is a great alternative to a van. And of course, when you're talking vans, none of the vans have a Lexus badge on them. Now, most vans that you buy today are really, really good, but some people just are like, I will never own a van. Some people just refuse to buy a van, even though a van might be the most practical vehicle for them to own. So for them, a product like the TX really makes sense. Here's a vehicle that looks more like a crossover, yet has all the room of a van on the inside because you have 3 rows of seating plus room in the back for gear. So many 3-row vehicles, specifically crossovers, once you get to that 3rd row, there's nothing behind it. This one breaks the mold and gives you cargo in the back. I think it's quite obvious that this TX is based on the Toyota Grand Highlander, a vehicle I very much like. But the question is should you get a Grand Highlander or should you get this Lexus version if you're in the market? And I would actually argue that the Toyota is the better choice. And the reason for that is, first off, more physical buttons. Anything with more buttons, I will like that because it's easier to use. You have less searching, you have less confusing deep interfaces that you have to click into. You can just see a button and hit it. I love that. Also, door pulls. Don't care for the current Lexus door pulls. They're these digital releases that sure are kind of nice, but I prefer an actual physical pull. When you get into the vehicle here, it's like half the time you have to educate the people in your vehicle how to get out because it's a push button instead of a pull. And that's just confusing. That's a conversation that I don't think anybody needs to have. How do you get out of the car? Please, driver, tell me. I mean, who wants to have that conversation? It just seems unnecessary. So for those two reasons, I would pick the Toyota over the Lexus. Also, the Toyota has plenty of horsepower. Not as much as this Lexus, but it's close enough. And it drives fantastic. So then there's this Lexus, which has all of the good stuff of the Grand Highlander, but it also has all of the luxurious appointments like the real high-end semi-aniline leather with the Alcantara inserts. It also has, of course, special suspension tuning specific to the Lexus. And it's very nice. I mean, you can even get adaptive suspension on certain trims. Hello. Now this one is a plug-in electric hybrid. So not only can you drive it like a normal hybrid, you can also go into full all-electric mode. In the filming of this, I've already worn the battery down, so I can't go into full electric right now, which is kind of annoying. But what I can do is I can go into charge mode, and that will actually start using the gas motor to charge the electric batteries. Woohoo! Dude, you put the throttle down, this thing hauls. 404 horsepower peak, that's no slouch. And of course, it also has the all-wheel drive system that relies on an electric motor in the back. And that is a system that I actually rather like. It's a nice setup. It's quick, it's responsive, it's great for helping with acceleration, feeling like the vehicle's always in control because you're not going to get those wheels spinning at all if you need to really get up and go. It's a very good all-wheel drive system, and I just love it on this vehicle. Now there are a number of drive modes in this vehicle, and yeah, you got to dive into the menu. For some bizarre reason, they thought that was a good idea. Sport, Eco, and Custom. If you go into Sport, it's going to be more aggressive in the throttle. Shift more of that power to the back, cut a little bit of the power in the front to kind of give it more of a rear bias feel. But this doesn't have the adaptive suspension at this trim level, so it's not really going to adjust much else. So for two reasons, I don't think anybody's going to use these modes because they really don't change the vehicle all that much, and they're 2 clicks away. I think half the owners who buy this thing aren't even going to be aware that there are drive modes in it because buried in the menus. Why do they bury things in the menus? One really nice feature they do include on all Lexus vehicles, just standard, is adaptive cruise control. Now I gotta take my glasses off because I want to see what my modes are doing up on my heads-up display. That's annoying. I'm gonna hover over here. Let's go ahead and turn on drive assist mode. I'm in the right mode. I'll set my gap. Okay, now I've set adaptive cruise control. I'm targeting the vehicle in front of me. He's actually going faster than me, so I'm not going to close the gap. But we are also doing lane detection here. Lane trace assist is what they call it. It'll detect the lanes and it will keep me centered, and it does a very good job. Now, keep in mind, this is a hands-on system. My hands are off just to show you how well it tracks down the middle. Yeah, does a great job. If you're considering buying an electric car, but you're not really ready to fully commit, a plug-in electric hybrid is excellent because it gives you that short-range all-electric ability, which you can use for commuting. But as soon as you run out of that extra extended range battery, then it's just a regular hybrid. Just put gas in. Some people may not ever even plug them in. That's okay. Of course, you've overpaid if you've done that because you're buying a bigger battery than you're actually going to use, but here nor there. The fact is that a plug-in electric gives you the flexibility of both powertrains. Yes, you're paying for it, but yes, you're also only buying one vehicle that can serve 2 purposes very nicely. And as far as I think everyday driving, the ability to stuff it full of people or gear, and just the overall comfort that you get, if you are looking for a luxury version of a vehicle like this, this is a great choice. You know what? Let's try a full throttle start and see how this thing feels. I bet it's got some spunk. So we're in sport mode there, and I'm just going to stop completely, and I'm going to do a full throttle. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, hit it. Yikes! Whoa! And 60. Wow, that was quick. This is quick. You will not be sad for the speed, that's for sure. So now that we've taken a look at how this car handles, I think it's time to try this thing off-road because it does have a trail mode. Now, I understand most people are not going to take this off-road. However, if you are packing the family in, maybe you want to go up to a trailhead. Sometimes the roads to get out there can be a little complicated. So I think it's time to put this one to the test. Our first test is going to take us through the Fun Forest, which is our easy course. This is designed to basically test the ability for a vehicle to shift power left to right, front to back. And we're going to see what this system can do. Now keep in mind, this TX does not have a drive shaft connecting from the front to the back. The back wheels are not connected to the gas engine at all. They are just powered by an electric motor, but it's a good sized motor, so we should see a lot of punch. That said, it is an open differential in the back, so we are going to rely on wheel braking to shift power left to right. And to enable that, I'm going to hit the little trail button down here. That's pretty much it. I'm relying on the all-wheel drive system and the about 8 inches of ground clearance to get me through this. So let's listen for any grinding. Now, would anybody actually do this with a Lexus TX? Probably not. I admit that. However, if, for example, you're going to grandma's house, and if you happen to take the wrong road, you might find yourself in this very situation. So I'm just slowly crawling up, letting the vehicle lift me up on purpose. I'm not using momentum because I want to see that all-wheel drive system do the work. Right about here is usually where it starts to lose traction. Wow. Didn't even notice it. So smooth. Now, let's turn off those beeps. Okay, we're continuing on. Gonna stick the driver's front wheel in the ditch. Oh yeah, it's gonna lift up that back wheel, and that'll show us how much articulation this vehicle has. Climbing out is pretty easy here though. Ah, those alerts are on again. Turn those off. Again, just easing on the throttle, let the vehicle do the work. So I have actually brought something through this course that is longer, and that is actually my Ranger Raptor. It is 120-inch wheelbase. At this point, I am dipping my wheel down as far as I can go in there. Not the hard stuff yet, though. The hard part is right about here, where we're tilting, and we're going to try to climb back up and out under its own power. Once see that power shift around, it shifts power. Now, of course, these are not all twin tires, so we're going to have less traction, but the vehicle just works itself out. No drama, does an excellent job. Excellent. Come on, add a little more throttle. Ooh, the throttle's so gradual. I kind of like it. This does have a continuously variable transmission, but it has a planetary gear for one, so it actually has a pretty direct connection feel, which is nice. I haven't decided if I'm going to take this over the logs yet because I'm not sure about the ground clearance, but luckily the exit here will give us a good indication if that is going to be a good idea or not. Off that audio again. I'm going to watch this tree on the right. Pretty close to it. Up and over, listen for grinding. Ooh, yeah, a little bit. Okay, let's do the logs. This might be a bad idea, but hey, what if you're stuck on a beach and you have to get over the logs to get back home? It could happen. Well, this is that scenario. So I'm going to, let's get that camera back on. Turn auto camera on, so it just turns on when we go low speed. This will help me figure out what it's like to crawl with this vehicle. and it's actually really good. You know, this is the benefit of electric, is that you have 100% of torque at 0 RPM. Oops, I'm about to start scraping on that manzanita right there. So let's go a little bit more left. Okay. Set it down. Now I really want to be careful that I don't set it down too hard. First off, the compression on the springs can cause damage. It can also get us high-centered, so I just need to make sure that we crawl slowly, or at least as slow as we can. Come on, a little more power, a little more power. I'm adding a little more power. Are you going to do something? Ooh, yeah. Almost. There we go. Just got to get a feel for where that throttle is. No scraping yet. Oop. Famous last words. We just bumped a log there, but just barely grazed it. Okay. Wow, this thing is more impressive than I thought it was going to be. Who knew? Got over the logs with no issue, and that throttle actually is pretty easy to control. I just need to learn where that engagement point is. Okay, swing this big boy around and we'll exit through the sand. It's got a tree on the inside, which the vehicle is definitely letting me know about. Need to make sure that I swing wide. We should be fine. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Inches to spare. See if we can get in and out of the sand pit. Yes. Did it. The Lexus TX is a surprisingly capable machine. I mean, no, I wouldn't take it on an aggressive off-road trail, but if you just need to get somewhere and it happens to be in the mountains, you can feel pretty confident that you'll be able to get up most public roads. And doing it, not just in luxury, but also in style. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them. And on now to the next adventure.